Brigadier General Idada Ikponwe, retired, examines the development and the situation of things happening in the country because of all these attacks here and there. And the most worrisome thing is that the president seems to be incapacitated because nobody's even hearing from him. And this Brigadier General Idada Ikponwe granted an interview, and he has a lot to say. And he was being asked, in recent times, Nigeria has witnessed a series of mass adoptions by terrorists who demand huge ransoms before releasing the victims. What is the implication of this scenario? And the man said, it is unfortunate that these mass adoptions are taking place at all in our country. It is even more disturbing that it is now targeted at secondary schools, tertiary institutions, and even hospitals. Some of their captives have been killed because their parents and the government refused or were unable to meet the demands of the terrorists in terms of payments and ransoms. The issue of ransom payments is a two-edged sword. It is not the best to be paying ransom because by so doing, you are encouraging these kidnappers to do more havoc. The money you pay them to release captives sustains them and helps them to buy more weapons with which they carry out more attacks on the people. On that note, it must not be encouraged, but at the same time, we must do everything possible to prevent the kidnapping of our citizens, whether in their homes, schools, markets, farms, hospitals, or on the highways. It is the responsibility of the government to provide security for everybody. If the provision of security and welfare of the people is the primary purpose of government, it then means that there is nothing too much for the government to do in order to guarantee the security of every citizen. Even if government is not even delivering on this primary responsibility, then it is not fit to be called a government. And that is the response of the man to that question. And the second question says that, how do you feel about the situation in Kaduna State where the governor maintains a policy of no payment of ransom and citizens of his state who were kidnapped are being killed by their abductors? And he said, I don't think the state governments are doing enough, and the Kaduna state government is certainly not doing enough in the face of the security challenges confronting the people of the state. After the federal government, the state government is the next level of authority and is even closer to the people. The situation in the states and indeed in country as a whole is lamentable, especially when the major instruments of maintaining security, law and order are controlled by the federal governments. Are you saying state governments are helpless? He said, no, I won't say they are helpless. I cannot say that the states are helpless because the state governors receive whooping amounts of money as security votes every month. They should commit a reasonable proportion of the money they get as security votes to put in place structures and measures that will be able to identify the location of these kidnappers, get them arrested and prosecute them. The state governors must do all things within their powers to prevent these kidnappings and killings going on in their respective states. It is not impossible to tackle this wave of insecurity. It is a matter of political will. It is a matter of how concerned those who govern really are about the situation. Look at the case of the America who was kidnapped somewhere around our borders with Niger Republic. The abductors brought the young man and hid him at a location in Nigeria and were demanding ransom from his relatives. But what did the United States do? They simply deployed their special security force to rescue their citizens and in the process eliminated those miscreants who kidnapped him. That is what government is all about, and that is what engenders patriotism from the average citizen. When you see that your government can go any length to save you from danger and harm, when you see that your government is always ready to ensure your security, welfare and well-being, nobody needs to tell you that you must be loyal and patriotic. That is what we expect from our own government too. You see, that statement is the key word. Once nobody is stupid. Like they always say, respect is reciprocal. You're not doing anything for the people, but you want the people to be law abiding. You want them to be patriotic. And they themselves, they're not even patriotic because see Buhari now going from left all over the world looking for where to get treatment. And yes, he's not patronizing his own country. And he's not even making sure that people are getting the right treatment. The dividends of democracy, they are not getting it, but he can go outside and spend the taxpayers' money. And some people will stand and begin to say nonsense. Is that not rubbish? All our government needs are gathering the right intelligence, deployments of high caliber military equipment and trained security personnel to confront these terrorists. Above all, the governments of the day must have the political will to go to battle with these terrorists and defeat them for Nigerians to be free to go about their legitimate businesses without fear or of any kind. So the prolonged absence of President Muhammadu Buhari from public view and the belief that he is incapacitated have become even a greater source of concern to many Nigerians. And that is it. That is it. Where some villages in Niger State are singing or signing peace agreements to exist in the country with terrorists, kidnappers, hoodlums, and so on. Am I asking who is in charge in the country? The terrorists or the federal government? Is there vacuum in the line of leadership in Nigeria at the moment? Unfortunately, the country is under siege. The point is that Kaduna governor has paid so much that he's tired of paying more because he invited them, he knows them, and they know him. You can imagine. Well, these are reactions of people. The man has even said his own. He said, and what is making the whole thing worrisome is that the the position the president has taken. Of course, everybody knows. You don't need to even flog the dead dog over and over again. The man is incapacitated because there's no justification for him not to even come out to relate to the people they always claim that voted for them, to relate with them one on one. I mean, a lot of things are going wrong. A lot of things are going wrong, and there's nobody that's going to tell us otherwise. Well, there's nothing wrong in Aso Rock. They are simply doing business with bandits and kidnappers. Hmm. There is no government for over 5 years in the zoo. Since now, the hidden truth is escalating small, small. Bye-bye. The APC and Buhari-led government is not committed in fighting terrorists. Nigeria have a wrong government in place. Our president, Muhammadu Buhari, is paying Nigeria back for not voting him on time. But God will fix our pattern. Nigeria is under the spells of Garba Shehu and Additional, though it seems the latter is silent. Recently, we have no live president, period.